So let's picture this, that you have papers strewn on the table and you are trying to locate an email, and somehow you manage to do all of this, and you just realize that you're late for work, and you reach the door, and at that moment you cannot spot your car keys. uh, I'm sure that we all have faced a similar situation in our lives, and maybe some of us face this on a daily basis. So, Smriti, what do you think? Are organizational skills relevant? And if they are, I mean, and what really are organizational skills? And how relevant are they?
That's I think, a very common example that you just cited, Stuti. I mean, we all go through this so many times. I remember walking with my sunglasses on my head in the house and looking for it all over the place. So this is such a common thing. And I think as we are talking about organization in adults, is of course something that's so crucial for our day-to-day living, our work experiences that we have. If you are working in a company, then how organized are you with your emails? How organized are you with the keeping the timing? So there's a lot of discipline and a lot of other things that are being used in our adult life. And however, everything in our adult life stems from our kind of habits and ways we live life and from childhood, right? And the biggest trouble parents have is, how do I get my child organized, right? And what is organization skill for a child? So I think this is something which is very important to define before we actually even start expecting it. We now know that organization is an important skill for our adult life, and which is why well-intentioned parents are pushing this skill with their children. However, from reading about it, learning, experience, seeing it for myself, I see that organization is a skill which cannot be forced. It can
Right.
only be instilled in the child, and this organization is one of the higher executive skills that are there in a child's development, right? And it is the cognitive development that is a necessity for organization to happen. Like how you would say you can't expect a 3-month-old to walk. Why? Because his or her legs are not yet well developed to hold the body weight. Similarly, the brain is not ready if you push it to get the organization done. However, having said that, I would say there is an organization need in children. If you look at toddlers, they want their routine to be organized. They want their stuff to go the way that they know, which is the routine that we're talking about. There is an organization, and little children, have you seen them? They collect these stones and they arrange it in a line. We've seen all these things happen. So organization is there, it's happening, but it cannot be forced. So I think we parents are hitting a dead end when we start to force our children to be organized. And that's what I would say. So looking into what it means for us and what it means for the child, to clarify that, is very important.
Sure, you're absolutely right when you said that. Uh, the example of a child collecting something. I think encouraging them to collect something, for example, even like you're saying that they're putting it in a sequence maybe, or sometimes they're collecting stamps or maybe stones or pebbles, and those can be sorted by them, which can be a great way to teach them how to be more organized. And I think, having discussed the fact that we as adults ourselves are struggling with organization in our lives, so it is important that we as teachers and parents help our children develop that, because later it will result in them being more productive, more efficient, and of course that reduces the stress. So when you're able to find something in its place, obviously it gives you a, you have peace of mind, and it's clutter free, and you are like more relaxed, and you can work better. So like if I were to give you an example from the school, uh, how beautifully, especially in a Montessori environment. So you know that we have the materials, and we call it work, which is there on the shelves in the classroom. So everything has a specific place. So every activity has a specific place, and the child is encouraged to go to that activity, that specific spot, take that, do it, and then put it back. So there is so much of the organization skill that is getting developed, because the child knows that I have to put it back where it belongs. So, we say that everything has a place, and there's a place for everything. So if these little children, like from two, as young as two, and maybe then 3, 4, and so on, if they are encouraged to do this even at home, if we have, when they are playing and they're asked to put back the things where they belong, or if we are reading to them, we, as adults also, we put back the things where they belong, then it definitely, they will develop these skills of organization, and they will apply it in their lives later as well. I think even, young children can help you in the kitchen, sorting the cutlery, or sorting utensils, and maybe we can give them a bag of mixed up socks, and they have to pair the socks. That could be a great way. And I think an more interesting way to help them be more organized could be, giving them a checklist when we are going on a vacation, for example, or maybe planning for a birthday. So they do actually check that, have they packed this, or what is the plan for day one, what is the plan for day two. And I think with older kids, this would also help them when they are planning for a project, maybe, or they have to break up the task into smaller parts, or maybe they are doing their home assignment where they need to do planning. So I think this is again a very, very important life skill, which we should focus on as adults with the kids.
Yeah, I totally agree. That was those are all really brilliant ideas, Suti, and you've given everything that is a day-to-day thing, which is not like you need special material or anything for that. It's amazing. I just love your ideas. I just want to bring the notice of parents to disorganization, right? Because obviously we want the child to be organized, but it's the reality of it is something else. So what does that disorganization tell me, right? That is what is the crucial factor when we are parenting or we are teachers. We can't judge a disorganization, or we can't label a disorganization, but we can definitely look deeply into disorganization. And underneath disorganization is always an unmet need. And children who are very disorganized are screaming out loud for boundaries. They want boundaries, they want rules. They are saying, please give me a parameter on which I can function. And because that's not there, they're going crazy, and that's making them look disorganized. You saw, you gave in your own example, you said when we couldn't find the car keys, when I can't find my sunglasses or my phone, I'm freaking out. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? And the mind goes blank. Can you imagine our children who still have their cognitive development happening? It's not even complete yet. They're under construction, like we say. And we are expecting them to do things which are adult like activities without showing them. So I love your ideas of list keeping, and making them a checklist and stuff like that. So the thing is, understanding what boundaries they're screaming from and what are the challenges that is making them disorganized. The moment you find those challenges, then you can break down those skills into steps, like you said. That's a great
Right.
idea. So look at it as an experiment. Disorganization has shown up in my child right now, whether it's at home or class. What can I do to help this child? Get away from the judgment and the expectation mode to a compassion and a helping mode, because after all, we are here to serve the child, and disorganization is a kind of thing that's telling us, look underneath, where's my routine, what's happening in my life, what about me as an adult, how organized am I? See, it's a mirror that our children are
Exactly.
showing us, right? So I think that aspect has to be considered too.
Right. No, absolutely. And as they say, children really observe the adults around them. And more than listening to you, they observe you. So they emulate you in that sense. So if the adult himself or herself is organized, it will definitely, somewhere the child will be inspired to do that. And you were very right about following a routine, because we have seen it when there is a routine, especially with young kids, it really gives them a sense of calmness, and they are obviously they're happier as children when there is a routine, vis-a-vis when things are just unorganized and there is no routine and we are following different things on different days. So yeah, I think it was great, kind of, though we all know that we all need to be organized in that sense, but it's good to talk about it, and especially the ways that we can encourage our children and ourselves to be more organized and have more time for ourselves because of being organized.
Absolutely. And I think, like I was saying, to check on the expectation that we have, that's very important. The expectation of my child has to be organized. But why? Questioning the why. And if it's because you can't see a cluttered house, or you can't manage a group of children who are a little bit beyond what you want them to do, then that's something we need to look into, because the organization that really consciously you want the child to have is for the benefit of the child, because
Exactly.
they can thrive in a world in ease and harmony. And that is why we are trying to instill this thing. And instill is a very important word, not force it down their throat. It's not going to happen. Then you're going to be the policeman and the watchman and making sure they clean their room, or get their books together, and it's going to be stressful. So where can I give responsibility? And when I give responsibility and it's not happening, then what's the challenge that making it not happen? How can I break that challenge down into smaller skills so that the child can get it? So what's the skill that's lacking or lagging? I would rather use the word lagging, that I need to nourish for it to flourish.
So true, so true. Like, if the child is actually not putting the toys back, instead of just saying that, no, you have to, or you have to, or why don't you, instead of screaming over there, we can just say, okay, let me help you do it.
Mhm.
So I think in that sense, it'll encourage the child to go ahead and do it, rather than again we're trying to instill that instead of forcing it on the child.
Absolutely. I think connection before correction is a key thing to remember here. So connect with your child and see what, why, what, and how behind this, and try to express and communicate it to the child in ways that they can understand.
Sure, Smriti. So thank you so much for this amazing discussion that we had. And I hope that everybody who's watching this benefits from this talk. Let's get more organized. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Thank you so much, and it's always a pleasure talking to you, Stuti. You have such a rich experience with children, having spending your time in a school with children, that I love hearing your experiences and your advice.
Thank you so much. I wish I always in my life continue doing that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.